let's talk about the players not named Trey Lance. I'm eager to watch, not just the players, but like what I'm looking for, what you would be looking for, non-quarterback related. In OTAs, like they used to do more. They used to do one-on-ones. If they do one-on-ones in OTAs in any position group, I'm watching. One-on-ones to me are a big moment of truth. These are professional athletes. One guy wins, one guy loses.
Right.
I love that. So if it's they used to do pass rush in the OTAs, and that's when I realized that Mike McGlinchey was not going to be the truth. I mean, he was letting Cassius Marsh whoop him routinely, thinking, nah, I don't know about this first round pick here. I don't know if they do that anymore, but if they do, I'm watching. Drake, you should be whooping Mike McGlinchey if he's out. You should be whooping everyone not named Trent Williams if you're out there. That's what I'm looking for. And then also on offense, the wide receiver, like Danny Gray, you should be winning those one-on-one matchups because it's tough. Any DB who wins in one-on-one, I'm taking note of because it's so hard to win in those one-on-one things.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I would say
also, offensive line. We got to. I mean, I always kind of forget. It's hard to judge trench play in the OTAs, but the Niners' biggest weakness is pass protection. So I'm going to do my best to be looking at that, not only in one-on-ones, but in 11-on-11s too. Even though the pass rush can't finish the play, was there pressure? And that's hard to judge. That's going to be very subjective, but we're all going to be trying to judge it.
I think you can definitely tell. I mean, if there's immediate pressure, like if he's beating them right away, I mean, that's really bad, right?
Yep.
It's harder to tell, like when it gets longer into the snap, it's harder to tell, but like immediate, yeah, that's troubling.
There's another thing this year too, since so many jobs are up for grabs, it's just going to be like reporting who played, this was the first team slot. Here's who cycled in at safety every day. Just a bunch of like depth chart stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's definitely a lot of open positions, right? You've got
right tackle, left guard,
right tackle, center. Guard, center. Yeah. Like what's going on at center?
I mean, Alex Mack's not going to be there.
Yeah,
he might show up for training camp, but he's not going to be here. So, who's going to be the starting center? All that stuff is going to be a big deal,
right? And like, I think one of the things is like, what is their plan at nickel? Because
it doesn't appear to be Sam Womack. He played left cornerback at the rookie minicamp. The nickel was Quantrez Knight, who went to UCLA and is an undrafted free agent. So it must be Darqueze Dennard.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Who lines up there, and then who's getting reps there? What?
Maybe it's Mosley. Maybe see. This is all the stuff that we should be able to see at first. Like maybe Mosley's the nickel now. Who knows? Maybe Ambry Thomas is the outside. Maybe the starters are Ambry Thomas and Trevarius Ward. Another thing I'm looking at, Trevarius Ward. That was their big addition this offseason. They hyped him up like a number one cornerback. This dude was our top target. I want to see him. What's he look like against Ayuk? What's he look like against Brandon Ayuk? Can you cover? Because there's a lot of wide receivers in the NFL who are better than Brandon Ayuk. No disrespect. Ayuk's a hell of a player.
Yeah.
But can you handle Ayuk? That's the first hurdle. If you can't cover Brandon Ayuk, you probably weren't worth the money. Right. We're not going to see how he does against Debo.
No, we're not. Not at this point. We're not. And like you said, like if you're paying a guy that kind of money, you should be able to handle a guy like Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think so. I'm not sure he can. I'm not sure he can because Brandon Ayuk is pretty freaking good. I'm just saying, especially in those one-on-ones. We'll see.
You'd like to see him be able to hold his own. I mean,
yep.
I think I'm a little with DBs and one-on-ones. I mean, it's so stacked against them. It is. And I'm sure they'll probably let him get away with more contact that he would be able to get away with in games. Yeah, if DBs are getting beat in one-on-one, I take it with a grain of salt. I mean, if they're just getting...
I'm just saying, though, man, you give a guy like that much money, I feel like he should win sometimes. That's all I'm looking for. I want to see a guy highly paid win sometimes as a DB.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure. No. Don't they do like a half field shell, like coverage combos? Do they do that? I mean, we do them. So I mean, instead of working one-on-one, you're working like on like a 2-on-2 or like a third. No,
they don't do that. No, they don't do that. They don't do that.
All
Thank
right.
God. Too much to look for. What sucks is when they do 3 1-on-1s at a time. They'll have like wide receivers, corners over here, O-line, D-line over here, and then tight ends and running backs against linebacker safeties over there. It's like, damn, I got to pick one today. Sucks.
The reason why I don't like a lot of one-on-one stuff, and I think there's a bunch of coaches that don't, and because one-on-one is essentially zero coverage. And if you're not playing a lot of zero coverage, it really doesn't mean anything. Like when you're lining up as a corner, you're lining up with some things in your head what the receiver can or can't do, or where your help is. So you're going to want to be playing that receiver based on where you kind of know where your help is, and that's not just doing
playing a technique. Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, and I think that's one of the things that Richard Sherman was really good at, is being aware within the coverage, where he can give up ground, where he can't, and then using that to his advantage. And I think the best corners are good at that. So I think, to me, like a team like the Ravens, I think one-on-ones are very important because they play so much zero. So yeah,
I'm just saying, like, you're right. Like, it's really stacked against corners. That being said, when Jason Verrett's healthy, he can win. He can win in that. And it's like, okay, this guy's really freaking good. Like, you better bring your A game if you're a wide receiver. You can do a double move. He still might get you. He was that good. I want to see is Ward that, because I've seen what it looks like. I've watched Jason Verrett, healthy Jason Verrett, do these things. That's what I'm saying. Like, I've been doing this for 11 years, and I kind of have a somewhat of a memory bank of what it looks like when it's good. You know, I've seen Patrick Willis play. I've seen Davis. So, like, where do you stack up? And you're right, like, one-on-ones can lie. A lot of people like Dante Pettis for years and thought he was good in camp, and he was good in one-on-ones. Like, he was really tough to cover in one-on-ones because he was kind of shifty, but in 11-on-11s, all of his softness, came out. And I hate to call a professional athlete soft, but comparatively speaking to other professional football players, I just got to say he was. And he would come out. But in one-on-ones, you're not worried about where the safety is, where the linebacker is. It's not an issue.
No.
And people will be like, "Oh, well, he's a punt returner. He can't be worried about that." Well, he's not a punt returner in the NFL. And it's different when you can sort of see the people coming at you in your peripheral, as opposed to you're going across the middle and you have no idea where the safety is. No clue, unless you just know the defense and you have a mental, or you're just fearless.
Right.
Or he's not fearless.
Right.
Although he made a valiant effort on that final kick return that knocked him out with the Niners. He just was like, YOLO, come on.
Or it's like no pads, and you're just like, you're going balls to walls because there's no pads. And
that's why I wrote him off when I first saw him, because first rookie minicamp, no pads. He alligator armed 2 passes over the middle. And I wrote it. It was like one hand up, like, I'm not even going to try. It's like, dude, it gets tougher. What was that? That's how I knew. But people were like, in one-on-ones, he would make people look silly. He could turn you around. He could spin you around in one-on-ones.
Well, he's still available. So
no, he's not.
He's not.
Chicago got him. Chicago beat everyone to the punch.
Oh, damn.
Matthew Sanders says, "What about the arm fitness? We need more about arm fitness. Play the kid. Can't wait to hear more veiled criticism against Trey." You think someone's gonna ask him about that? Like, hey, Trey, do you know what arm fitness means and why people feel you don't have it?
You should ask him.
Trey never really broke character last year in press conferences. We kept trying to get him to let his hair down a little bit, and he wouldn't do it. Maybe it's just because he was young or backup. Maybe that's how he's going to be his whole life. Very buttoned up. He was extremely buttoned up. Meanwhile, you had Big Jimbo dropping curse words left and right. It's like, come on, Trey. Well, you might get the job if you cursed a little bit. I don't know. Maybe not.